Oh, friends, I am ready! It's Romania Black, and we are on episode 7 of Ace of the Diamond, Act 2, Season 2. And last week we started the semifinal game with Sato and Ichidai, and Amahisa and Sawamura were just coming out the gate swinging. So this should be a very, very fun match to see animated. I'm super excited. People have been hyped up in the Discord over on my Patreon about it, and they were like, have you seen it yet? And I was like, I gotta eat breakfast first, and then I'll be ready to go. So we are starting episode 7 today. I've got a couple comments from episode 6 that I want to talk to you all about before we get started, though. Zero Anti-Zero said the entire situation in episode 6 reminds me, mainly with Kawakami and with Kateoka, that there are baseball parents out there who want their coaches to overexert their kids because they think that certain surgeons will make them better players later on. It's sick. Yeah, I wanted to add to that comment in my reply the idea that I think some parents expect the coaches to overexert so that the responsibility can fall back onto the coaches instead of the parents later on. But luckily at Ace of the Diamond, the parents are all, for the most part, very supportive of their children, and we don't have monster parents. I mean, go watch Stars Align if you want to get into that old deal. But yeah, I thought that was interesting to note. They also said, oh, and I definitely think Sawamura is a prodigy. Only 2 years ago in manga time, he was a country bumpkin nobody. Sato gave him the opportunity to let his baseball instincts shine. Not only that, but I think we all need to acknowledge that Rei is MVP of the entire series. She discovered Mochi, she discovered Miyuki, she discovered Sawamura. Girl needs a pay raise and a wedding ring from Kateoka. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Rei and Kateoka's children would be either baseball prodigies or they would have nothing to do with the sport. But those are very good things to note. And then Kelsey said for episode 6, my favorite thing is how we collectively still call Chris and Tetsu's year the third years, even though they have been not third years for like 6 months already. I know. I don't like to think of Miyuki and Mochi as third years now because I don't want to think about them graduating. That's very hard. But also, for me, Chris and Tetsu and Tamba and all them, they will always be the third years. Always. That's just how they're going to be. Even if they're like, about to retire from their jobs or pro baseball, they're still going to be the third years. Then she said, our gremlin battery returns. Miyuki knows Sawamura well enough at this point that he can tell he's trying to carry the team because of Nori's injury. He wants to push them past this game so Nori can play again. And I think it's sweet that in the moment, Miyuki was able to calm down Sawamura's nerves and remind him he's not carrying the team alone. That Miyuki is there as his partner. Ugh, the best ship, honestly. I agree. I feel like Miyuki could see that Sawamura was putting a lot of pressure on his shoulders. He's like, hey, calm down. We got this. She says, also, I think it's nice that although we know Miyuki puts a lot on his shoulders in any team, the captain and the ace work together to lead and carry the team. So that's just an additional partnership that isn't just pitch catcher, but also Captain Ace. Sawamura never wants to let Miyuki carry everything by himself either. That's why they're a ship. That's why we love them. That's why we're all into it. 020 had pointed out that they changed the wording in their little gremlin moment from that's hot to that's hype. We're going to get clarification from Shimuyama to see if that is true or not. But anyway, Kelsey follows up by saying, if you rewatch or read the series, one of the things that's hilarious to note is how much Mochi hates Amahisa right out the gate. He never just gives him the benefit of the doubt. He's always a hater, and if he ever showed up to request Sawamura's hand in courtship, Mochi would become a murderer for sure. I just love the idea that we've established Mochi as like Sawamura's like brother he never had, and he's also Miyuki's best friend. So anytime Amahisa is near Sawamura, both Miyuki and Mochi are like shaking hands, being like, he has to go. But anyway, thank you all so much for the kind words and comments. I am already sweating in anticipation of this episode, but I am super excited to get into it. So we're not going to waste any more time. Thank you all so much. I hope you enjoy this reaction and discussion. Please like the video, please comment down below, and please subscribe if you want to see Ace of the Diamond every Tuesday afternoon. But with that being said, we're going to start Ace of the Diamond, Act 2, Season 2, Episode 7, and we're going to do that here in 3, 2, 1, and let's go. Oh, this is so good. I'm really glad. When I opened up the episode, I was like, I didn't see a title. And then we got through the recap and got through the intro. I was like, okay, it's what's built up. And that is such an apt an apt title for this episode, because this episode was all like getting through the second inning, getting started in the third inning, and just building up the tension between these two teams, because it really is a pitcher's duel between Sawamura and Amahisa to see like, okay, who's going to cave first? Who's going to give it up first? And what I love about this game is that there really is, I mean, you can't necessarily say that like Sawamura or Amahisa is better than the other, but what I like about this game is that there's not like this one-sidedness to it where like we've had other games in the series where either Sawamura or the opposing pitcher, one of them is struggling, and then there has to be this deficit that's made up by the outfielders or the catcher or something like that, or the batters. But here, both Sawamura and Amahisa are having moments where they're starting to like, they drop a little bit and then they catch back up, and then, you know, they work and coordinate with their catchers and with the team. So it really is what makes this game so fun, is that everybody is kind of on the same playing field. There's not really an underdog. There's not really someone that is definitely like starting from a worse place than the other team. They're both like on equal footing. I know we talked last episode about how Ichidai's had some substitutions, but they really are a pretty solid team. So it's not like it's putting them in an underdog position at all. So I think that's really good, because, you know, when Sato faces Inashiro, Sato is the underdog, which is crazy to think because Sato's an elite school, but they are, because Inashiro is so hyped up and so like on top of the world. Whereas here, Ichidai and Sato are pretty even keel, which makes it, I think, a more, I feel like a lot of people like the semifinal game the best because it really feels like it's anyone's game. Whereas with the final game, you know, you can look at it one or two ways, which we're not there yet. So we'll talk about it when we get there. But my only critique of this whole episode is that I hate that there was a 3-minute recap. That is my only complaint. My only complaint whatsoever is that there's a 3-minute recap, because I watched episode 6 last week. I didn't need a recap. I could have gone back and rewatched episode 6. I feel like recaps are an outdated medium. I get when I watch older anime that came out in the 90s and the early 2000s when streaming was not an option and you just had to watch it on TV every week. I will give grace to those series, because if you're watching back in those days where you could not stream and you had to either see it the week and the time it came out or you missed it, sure, you want to give a recap in case if you missed it last week? Absolutely. But in the age of streaming, you don't need a recap. You don't. There's no excuse for a recap. The only excuse for it is that it is a tool by the production company because they have 23 minutes and they're like, we want to end on this specific point. And so because we want to end on this specific point, we've got to make sure that we encapsulate all the content. Oh, this is not enough to get there. We're going to put a recap in. That's the only reason it exists. Otherwise, there's no reason for it. Not in the modern day and age of the way that we do streaming and putting out these series. No. At least it's not a full episode. But this episode is called What Has Built Up. And I want to get this started here. I just realized I didn't have my screenshots here in a 3, 2, 1. Starting out with Sasaki here, I really do appreciate that in this episode we kind of get to understand more of Ichidai's players. We get to see them more. Ichidai's got a very attractive looking team. Amahisa made him out to be like they were a bunch of trolls. They really aren't. Maybe by comparison to Amahisa they are, but he was just like, oh, my team of aliens. I'm like, you know, they're not that bad looking. Some of them could be models, especially that one guy. We'll get to him. But yeah, so Sasaki, I love the intensity of their manager, and it's now hitting me that every time he's like, my boys, get it. It's like he's holding them at gunpoint, being like, you're going to do this, my boys, right? I really love him. I love this manager a lot. But yeah, Sawamura. Oh, Tojo and Shirasu. Shirasu, my love. I adore him. I adore him so much. He's so serious, but I also feel like in my head canon, because I do kind of ship Shirasu and Nori, is that he's doing this for Nori. He knows something's up. He's got to be on his A game. I also feel like Tojo is underappreciated. I don't know. Maybe not. Mochi was great this episode. Mochi was on fire. I'm so ready to talk about Kuramochi. And then Miyuki and Sawamura, they were just, I love that shot of Miyuki to Sawamura. They both have like the fire in their eyes. They're both like, yes, let's do this. Total praise to Sawamura, because again, I feel like Ace of the Diamond is one of those series that you have to watch all the way through. You've got to get through the hard stuff to get to where you're rewarded. And back in season 1 and season 2 of the series, in Act 1, a hit like that from Hashida would have completely devastated Sawamura. He would have had the bags under his eyes. He would have been moping. He would have been depressed. He would have been feeling insecure. I love that in this game, Sawamura is like, we ain't got time for that. We don't have time for that. Nori can't pitch. It's me and Furuya. Like, hell, I'm going to let Furuya finish out this game. No. I want to see Amahisa pitch. I want to pitch it through to him. I love that Sawamura, like, gets his A game on, and he's like, we ain't got time to worry. Like, that is an ace. That is just, I love it. That's my dude. I absolutely appreciate it. I really, 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 really love it. And yeah, and to think that this entire episode is just them just getting batters out. Like, there was moments of contact, but I'm so glad, like, and ramping up the tension, like thinking that Mochi or Tojo or Hashida could have gotten home. The fact that it's just 0-0 adds this like pressure. Who's going to be the first to score? Are they going to score 1 run? Are they going to get 2 runs? Then what's the other team going to do? Like, it's building up. Like the episode title is, what's built up. It's building up this pressure of, at some point, we're already into the 3rd inning by the end of this episode. When's the dam going to break? And who's going to cave first? And depending on who caves first, what's going to be the reaction of the other pitcher? Like, that's really important to note as well. That line there, desperate for a run. Yeah, I like the reporters were injected into this throughout, where the reporters are like, you know, Ichidai wants to get that first run and build it up. And I liked the conversation that they said of like what Ichidai's strategy is. They do everything bit by bit. They're like run by run. We want to get those runs first because, and which is a solid strategy. If you can get those runs first while the going is good and the iron's hot, then later when everybody starts to get fatigued, you've got a little cushion there, right? And they've seen how Sawamura's pitched and they're like, oh, we need to get a run on the board right away before things get out of hand. Because both Sawamura and Kosei have a tendency towards the end of the games to like either like make little mistakes or get fatigued or they get kind of, I don't want to say cocky, but they do have a tendency to like overestimate something. And Ichidai knows that about Kosei. Sawamura usually gets replaced at that point with Furuya. So there is that knowledge there of each team as they go into it. This guy right here, Hiroki Adachi, this guy could be a model. That expression, man, looks intense. He looks like he's on Mad Men. Mad Men Baseball Edition. I was like, damn, okay. Come on, Hiroki Adachi. Like, he's a very attractive character. I was like, where you been this entire series? But he looks so serious, and he knows what he's up against. He's a shortstop. Are all shortstops just intense? Like, Mochi has a similar expression. Adachi has a similar expression. Are all shortstops filled to the brim with intensity because they have such a position on the field? Is that what they are? I love that. So yeah. And then, man, Hoshida, I really want now, not only because their names sound similar, but I kind of want Hoshida and Harada to have like a conversation. I don't know. I feel like Hoshida and Harada could have a very intriguing conversation. They're both big buff dudes who are totally into baseball. I want to see it. Why can't we see it? But yeah, good shot of her. Haruichi did not have much to do in this episode, but he looked great. Good for him. And yeah, I like the one guy that's bald on the team that's got the shaved head. And then Amahisa rooting for his team members and supporting them. Look, y'all, Miyuki and Mochi are going about this the wrong way. Sawamura and Amahisa are just bros. They're very like-minded pitcher bros, and you just need to let them be friends. Because they really do have a lot in common. They honestly do. Amahisa's more like poetic dorky and Sawamura is like country bumpkin dorky, but they both have this like this sunshine to them in an odd way where they do support their team and their team kind of looks up to them. It's great. But yeah, and I love the line from the manager. He's like, I'll bet on my boys' baseball power. Like, my boys! That phrase, he is iconic for it. But yeah, this battery, Sawamura and Miyuki, they are not messing around. They are here for blood. They went for it, and Sawamura looks so good! Zero was noticing that the animation back in episode 6 was starting to be more reminiscent of Act 1. Totally agree. I really like the animation in this episode. Really love the way the expressions are, the fire, everything. This was just so good. And I love okay, so you do the hand down like this, which on this side looks like this, and then you have, like, I have to do it that way, but basically you're like this, number 9. That's so cute. I love it. Good job, Seto. Asada my bean. I love them. What a bunch of adorable beans. Love them. Let's get some heat. Miyuki ain't playing around. Miyuki's like, no, we are going to get this. Let's go. I'm not going to let him come home. And then here's the thing. I feel like sometimes these players get in their heads. So like in Adachi's case, he's thinking about how Kosei is depending on them and they need to like show up for Kosei. The thing is, Kosei will be fine with them either way, whether they succeed or not. But once you start getting in your head and you're not in the moment and focused, then that's when bad things happen. It'd be a tragedy if the whole country couldn't see you pitch. And then he jammed it, but damn, the play of the mother trucking game so far has been Mochi leaping and getting that damn ball. Like, no, mother trucker, you picked me off. I'm getting you back. Even if I don't get you back, Kosei, I'm getting your team back. I forgot that happened. Kelsey gives me a hard time. She's like, you forgot everything from the manga. I'm like, it's been a few years, and I intentionally didn't reread so I could enjoy it in the anime. And I forgot about this moment, and just so good. It's so good. Damn, Mochi is just one of his finest moments. I just like, yes, awesome. I love Kuramochi's like, get it, bitch. I finish this. Finish him. I love someone tells Sawamura, say something, and Sawamura's like, I'm speechless. How could you not be with a move like that? He's like, I'm speechless, y'all. I got nothing to say to that. I'll make up for being picked off and then some. Yeah, so Kuramochi's got a chip on his shoulder, and he's like, I'm going to make it up and do this for my team. And Kosei's just over here like, whoa, man, look, I didn't start this. Yeah, Kuramochi's such a good player. I love him. Yep. And I like that the coach, you know what? Through all this adversity, he's just like, all right, we're just going to take it in stride and we're just going to go and it's going to be okay. It's going to be all right. And so then we got our 3 outs and we changed sides. Mm-hmm. I love that. And meanwhile, while the team is like, all like, damn, this sucks, Kosei's like, well, I guess we'll get them next time, boys. He's surprisingly wholesome. I will praise Kosei to the ends of the earth. I really will. So bottom of the second, and Miyuki is up to bat. Yep. I like that we cut straight to Chris and Yuki, who are like 2 of Miyuki's biggest supporters and some of his biggest influences. So I'm glad we got that. God. Kosei has not realized the enemy he has made, the rival he has made with Miyuki Kazuya. He has no clue. That's probably what's the funniest part about all of this, is that Kosei understands to an extent. We'll get to that in a second. But I don't think he truly realizes how much Miyuki does not like him. And he's just like, what'd I do, bro? I'm just trying to talk to your... Are you dating? I'm just trying to talk to your pitcher. What, bro? I don't think he realizes. I don't think he knows. So then we have, I forget who the guy with the top knot is. Who is he? Who is Inashiro? Inashiro's players. I need to know because I'm like, who be these people? That one guy, I always forget who he is. It is, he's a third baseman. Well, that's why I don't remember him. Sorry, no shade to the third basemans of the series, but we don't get a lot of focus on them. Koji, Yabe Koji. Yabe Koji, forgot about him. He's there. Shirakawa's looking like he would rather be at Lollapalooza. And then we have May. I do remember reading in the manga, seeing May show up. And every time during the semifinals, stuff was going down between Kosei and Sawamura, and particularly with Sawamura and Miyuki and all this, I really wanted May's commentary and May's thoughts, because we get them occasionally. We get May's thoughts about Raichi as a pitcher. It's not good. We get May's thoughts about other characters as pitchers. It's usually not good. May seems to have respect for Furuya, which he's just like, respect, you got your pitch, you're doing good, consistent, good for you. But I always felt like Mei didn't know how to read Sawamura, and if you are going with the theory that I have, that Mei and Miyuki are exes, then Mei has this constant like, well, you're not good enough for Miyuki. I'm good enough for Miyuki, but you're not good enough for Miyuki. Like, I always got that vibe from Mei, and until we get to a specific game that y'all know is coming, then I'm like, we didn't really get a lot of his inner thoughts. And so that is the one thing that made the final bout between Inashiro and Sato so good, is because we finally got that talk. Because when they faced him back in Act 1, Mei was not impressed. Mei was just like, you're just a first year pitcher. You just have this little specialty to you, but you're nothing special. Like, just not impressed with him at all. Like, why does Miyuki have to deal with you? And I really wish we'd had more of that in this moment, especially between, because Mei has faced both Sawamura and Amahisa, so he knows how they both pitch. But I just kept wanting to see, I wanted to see more, so maybe we'll see it before the end of this, because they're hyping up, the winner's going to face Inashiro. Obviously, Inashiro has to play after them, but we all know how that song and dance is going to go. Inashiro's going to win. But anyway, and also I wanted to see Mei, like, give a glance towards Miyuki. He's watching him. So he's like, the battery that could have been, So Miyuki looks really good there. That's a really good shot of him, honestly. I want to also talk about Takami. Takami, I think that's his name, who is the catcher for Ichidai. I like him more and more every episode of this season. I really like him. He is, like, Amahisa's not wild. He's not cocky like Mei in that sense, but he's not wild and kind of like brash and delinquentish like the pitcher for, Ugamori. He's also not sunshiny the way that Sawamura is, but he's not brooding, and he's not an intellectual like the one pitcher with glasses that's the international student. He's not, and whose name is escaping me at this moment, and you all will hate me for not remembering him, but he's not intellectual like that. Amahisa's more like poetic genius. He's kind of like, he's more calm thinking, but he's got this poetic eccentricity to him. And I feel like that Takami as the catcher is a really good, like, kind of good compatibility for Kosei, because Kosei does not need a catcher that just lets him do whatever he wants. Itsuki would not be a good catcher for Amahisa, but I also don't think like Miyuki would not be a good catcher for Amahisa, because Amahisa, he's eccentric, but he has this like poetic genius to him where he kind of thinks that he has the best ideas. He's a little bit more like Mei in that regard. It's the pitcher's ego, right? So I don't think Miyuki would be a terrible catcher for Amahisa, because Miyuki would be challenging him way too much, and Amahisa would be like, no, I don't want to do that. Whereas I feel like Takami challenges him, but in a very calm, cool kind of like, hey, do you want to do this? What? Well, okay, no. What about this? Like, I really like him. I like his character a lot. He's like kind of stoic, and I really appreciate him. So he's really grown on me. Even when they disagree, they're having a pretty interesting dialogue. I like that. The pitches look great, animated, by the way. And then Miyuki striking out and us not seeing his reaction, doing the classic, the glasses are shaded, you can't see. Like, even the sports glasses are shaded, you can't see. Amahisa, you do not know the rivals that you are making with this man. Like, has no clue. One thing that is kind of cool to note is that when he goes off screen, because Amahisa's like, yeah, I got you, right, bro? You gonna give me a look? I think he was expecting a look. Like, Amahisa's like, come on, what'd you feel about that? What'd you think about me striking you out? And then for Amahisa to go up to Zono and be like, look, here's how the pitch was. I got out. Here's what it is. Amahisa's like, You're not gonna get mad at me? Amahisa's a glutton for punishment. He's like, you're not gonna give me a look back? Like, I thought we were rivals. Like, what are you doing? That's literally the vibe. And I love this tiny little moment. It's not much, but it was so cute. Where as he's going up, he's like, what does Sawamura say there? Because Amahisa's like, what are you guys talking about? I don't like being left out. And he's like, why didn't you swing there, dude? I love Sawamura's little parrot-shaped diamond mouth. It's so adorable. And all Miyuki can do is say sorry. Oh, they're the best. Love them. So yeah, Zono and all them trying to figure out how Amahisa's pitch works, trying to get a hit off of it. I feel like Tojo's underrated. I really do. I like Tojo a lot. He's always like supporting on the field and off the field. So I feel like, what is this shot? I feel like he's great. Look at this shot of Amahisa. I did not notice that in the reaction. What is he just like, yes, I did it. I did not notice that. That's so funny. I love Amahisa. Honestly, Amahisa can do no wrong to me. I will hear no Amahisa slander. He is my dude. And Sawamura is like, I gotta take him down. So, to be honest, I expected them, what is he blushing? I'm just noticing that he's blushing up to bat against Sawamura. Oh my god, Amahisa, you're not helping your cause at all. I'm just now noticing this. I was expecting them to frame this moment here for the end of an episode, because it was the end of a chapter in the manga, and it's one of my favorite like ends of a chapter, honestly, in the whole series, because by this point, as I was reacting to the manga, which is on my channel, by the way, you should go check it out if you want more of this content and more of me babbling in much more detail in those, but I was expecting them to end the episode with a moment like this, because in the manga they end a chapter with this confrontation where Amahisa is up to bat, and he's just like, he wants Sawamura to give him his new pitch. He's like, I gave you my new pitch, so I want you to give me your new pitch. The fact that he's blushing is insane. But yeah, he comes up to bat and is just like, and for a moment Sawamura is like, well, this is his last year. He's like, I don't want to do it to him. I'm like, no. Sawamura, do not get that mindset. Does not matter if they are third years. You treat them like opponents, whether they're first years or third years. Don't get that in your mindset. Don't do that. You got to win this. Don't be going easy on him. And then he says, he's like, I don't want to do this to him, damn it. I never should have traded contact info to him. I feel like Sawamura is like, I don't want to kill him, but I guess we've got to. It is like a mafia moment where he's like, I don't want to take this guy out. I wish we'd never talked, but you know too much. It does feel like a mafia moment. And again, we don't see Miyuki's eyes until the very last part here. He's like, don't you get it, Sawamura? What I want to see is your pitch. And then Sawamura's like, quit grinning. And Amisa's like, but I want to see it. And they're like, so strike two. Again, we don't see it. And then this moment, oh my god. A crummy batter like me is unworthy of seeing your new pitch, huh? Miyuki's just like, you son of a bitch, get out. I freaking loved this moment. Now, in the manga, he says final boss, which amps the shipping up 1,000%. Like, Amahisa viewing Miyuki as the final boss between him and Sawamura. I mean, come on. But here they say mob boss, which mob boss works too. I could easily see Kuramochi, Miyuki, and Sawamura being in the mafia. So, could see them as Yakuzas. So, I just love that Amahisa's like, well, I don't like you either. It's so good. It's so good. But anyway, so he gets struck out. We're at the top of the third. And he's like, the brains. He's like, I really do hate that guy. I love that Amahisa doesn't hate Sawamura. He loves Sawamura, but he's like, I don't like that Miyuki, that guy calling the shots. I hate that guy. I'm like, just building up this rivalry. I freaking love it. And then Chris just being so supportive from the sidelines. We love to see it. So yeah, they did do a little shot of the 139 kilometers per hour to kind of show that we're getting close to the 140. I forgot Sawamura had the 140 mark that he hadn't broke yet. I forgot that. I do think it's kind of interesting because they make a big deal about Sawamura breaking 140, and it is a big deal. It's just when you think about it, Furuya pitches like 151 like on the regular. But that makes, I guess that's to highlight and make Furuya's fastballs even more impressive. Like, it's a big deal for Sawamura to break 140, and Furuya does 151 like right off the bat. So how much is kilometers per hour? I want to see how big. I've been to a baseball game before, so I'm like, kilometers per hour to miles per hour. What are the differences between that? 140 is 86 miles per hour. Okay, and then 151 is 93 miles per hour. That's pretty fast. I've seen pitches at a game that were like 108 miles per hour, which was crazy. There was like one that was like 108, and I was like, ooh, that's fast. But yeah, that's still 86 miles an hour is still pretty good. So Miyamoto is the batting ninth for Ichidai. I think he's the one that's bald. Yes, Miyamoto is. And so, again, Sawamura is not letting anything get to him, and I really love that about him. I love to see him be so confident and to see him and Miyuki working so well together. Again, it would be nice to see Mei's take on that, because Mei is used to seeing Sawamura kind of crumple under pressure, and it would be neat for Mei's opinions about that. I respect Mei's opinions because he's really good, but, you know. And then they're like, nice pitch, Ajun. Oh, that's 2 out, Sawamura. Cute. Who else called him Ajun-kun? Who called him Ajun-kun in the stands? And that's when he got to 140. Look at Asada! Look at Asada's little, like, blush. That's so cute. Oh, what a benchmark. Now, and then Chris being like, yeah, like, my heart sings for them. That's so cute. Love that. Good for Sawamura. But I do like that Miyuki's like, now hold on, let's not get crazy. Let's get back in the game, get back to focus. I don't blame Miyuki for being this way, because the semifinals were in the middle of a very intense game and you do not need to be distracted. And Sawamura focusing on his pitch speed, Miyuki's like, don't get cocky, don't underestimate people. Like, come on, let's get back in the game. Like, I don't blame him. I don't blame him for being concerned, but damn it, look at Sawamura where he's like, I did it. I beat my record. Isn't this great? And Miyuki, that cut to Miyuki being like, oh, damn it. Again, how dare you, series, for not showing us his eyes, for not showing us how he looks. But yeah, also, I would be remiss to not point out that Chimaru has my favorite expression out of this whole game so far. He just constantly looks like he's being tortured. Like he's been drugged here against his will at gunpoint by the manager of Ichidai and forced to do this. And he's like, come on, my boy. Come on, Chimaru, my boy. If you see the meatball, go get it. But yeah, does not work out for him, unfortunately. Everybody keeps striking out. I do love this shot. Like, Hishida looks so crazy. He looks like the Terminator. He looks like he's about to go back and get Sarah Connor at this moment. And then Amahisa, that's a hell of a pitch he's got. Amahisa's just admiring from the sidelines. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. One thing that definitely separates Amahisa and Mei 1000% is that Amahisa is very vocal about acknowledging people that are good. Like Amahisa, when he's like, damn, look at Sonata. Damn, he's doing great. Wow, look at Sawamura's pitching. He's doing awesome. That's a great pitch he's got there. Amahisa is so comfortable in himself that there's 2 types of comfortableness, right? 2 types of comfortableness in you yourself as a person in a competitive sport. Amahisa is the type of person comfortable in his own ability that he's able to recognize other people's strengths openly. And he's like, yeah, great job. You're awesome. Cool. Nicely done. Whereas Mei is so comfortable in his ability that he kind of looks down on you if you don't measure up in his eyes, where he's like, that's all you've got. Like, you know, it's 2 totally different attitudes about it. And I kind of love that we get to see that with Amahisa in comparison to Mei. So yeah, he's like, come on, Takami, nothing right down the center, okay? I love that Takami has this stoic seriousness. He's like, what are we going to do? Okay, great, let's go do it. Like, love him. Takami is great. I want to see more of him and Amahisa's battery. Nice. And he's like, Amahisa like literally jinxes himself almost, being like, I got to keep up, make sure I'm not the first one to fold. Yeah, this pressure is mounting in this moment. Okay, can we talk about this guy? He looks like, there's a series I have not reacted to, but I have been, it's way too long. I don't think I would get to it for a hot second because it's way too long of a series. There's too many episodes. But Gintama, is that right? Gintama, like the main guy has white hair, but the hair is fluffy like it is here. He looks like that guy, only that guy has black hair instead of white hair. But he is very excited about this game. Whoever drew him, he is having a great time. He is super excited to be here. But yeah, so Kataoka subbed out Yuki's brother for Aso-kun, which, you know what? Poor Aso-kun. Also just getting broken up. Probably for the best that he wasn't playing in this game. And honestly, Yuki's brother is such a glass cannon. He really is. He is the Ninetales of this series. If you know Pokemon, Ninetales is like a glass cannon in terms of their stats and stuff. My brother plays competitive Pokemon and he always says that. But Yuki's brother is, when he hits it and makes contact, it's going to be a home run. It's going to be out of the park. It's going to be gone. But it's like freaking using hyper beam. Like there's like a 10% chance. And then here, or what is it? Like fissure or something. One move that's like an instant KO, but it's like a 10% chance. But 90% of the time, he's going to miss or not do well. So it's like, you're betting a lot on him right now as a first year. My hopes and feelings are that he'll get better over time. But right now, it's like, if it hits, it's gone. But it's the getting hit that's going to come to it. And he's just a first year, so he's still figuring things out, right? But I think he'll get there eventually. So yeah. And so Katioka meeting with the team, telling them what they need to do. He's like, eventually people are going to start throwing flaws. I like the reporter pointing out that once you start going through the lineup, and the manager for Ichidai says this as well, once you start going through the lineup, everybody's seen the pitch once. So they're going to start making little adjustments to try to meet that pitch or to make contact with it. Like, it's true on both sides. So these first 3 innings have been the batters getting slowly acclimated to the other pitcher's movements. And what makes the pressure build up is that no one's scored a run yet. So you've basically spent 3 innings building up everyone's understanding of Amahisa and Sawamura's pitches. There's, the curtain's been pulled back. There's not a lot of tricks left in the hat. So now it's going to be like, who's going to draw first blood to get that first run? And will the other team be able to match it and catch up? And then the game really starts. So, next week is episode 8, which is the rule of 8, which is, 8's my lucky number. So I'm kind of like, what are we going to get next week? What's going to happen there? So I'm pretty excited about that. We also saw Raizo. So I'm like, we're going to get talk between him and Sonata? Is that happening next week? I really would like that. But yeah, Kanemaru, good for him. Good for Kanemaru. Amahisa always looks stunned that someone hit his pitch. He always looks like, how could you have? And the catcher's like, son of a bitch. Amahisa always looks amazed that someone could hit his pitch. Like it was never even heard of. Right? But he did. Good job. Kanemaru needs to get more love. Kanemaru deserves some more love. Also, look at this guy over here. What are with these guys next to the former third years from Ichidai that are hitting on all these ladies? What is happening? But he's like, don't worry. He's more ready for this. I do like that the former third years of both Ichidai and Sato have so much faith in Amahisa and Sawamura. Like, they know how far they've come. They know the strides that they've made, and they know to have faith in them. I feel like that's so great. I love that for them. And I love that they're just ready to go. But look at Sawamura! Oh, he's so ready to go up to bat. And man, just doing the sacrifice bunt. Again, I've said it before in previous seasons. I'll say it again. I think it's really creative to have your main character be the one that does the sacrifice bunts, because usually that seems like a move that would be relegated for a side character, and for Sawamura to be the one to come up to the plate and do it, I think is really great. I love that. So good for them. But yeah, and I also like that the catcher, Takami, is very well aware that Katioka would do this move. He's like, nope, Mochi's coming up next. He's like, yeah, they would try this. They would do it. So I'm not going to underestimate Sato, which is smart move on Takami's part. But yeah, the audience has no clue what's to come. And Mochi is so intense. Kuramochi's like, I am going to make up for what that bastard did to me earlier. Although, they bring up a really good point. Amahisa's pitches are crazy. Like sliders and curveballs and changeups. I would imagine it would be hard to hit a bunt off of just a straight fastball, much less a ball that curves and does this and that. Like, to me, that would be insanely hard to do. Props to y'all for being able to do it. I don't think I could. I don't think I could even dream of hitting a bunt like that. But he does. He hits it and then allows Kanemaru to get to third base. But damn it! They are building up, and I honestly don't remember if we get a resolution to this. This is part 2. Part 1 was Kuramochi getting picked off by Amahisa. Part 2 is Kuramochi trying to score off of Amahisa and just barely getting out. Just barely. I'm like, is third time going to be a charm for Kuramochi? I don't remember, but they are building up Kuramochi's struggle in this game. He caught that one pop fly out there, like, which saved the whole game, honestly. So good for Kuramochi, but they are just building up his dislike of Amahisa, and now he just wants to show him up. Like, they are building that up for us. But man, I wanted Kuramochi to get this. I really wanted him to get it, but Amahisa's like, I'm not backing down. And then he manages to make contact and get it. And not immediately off the bat. He struggles a little bit. I just love also Kuramochi being like, what are you looking at? Throw the damn ball. Kuramochi and Miyuki just don't like Amahisa, and it is so fun to watch them and their animosity towards him. It's the kind of desperation our baseball aliens show too. I love that Amahisa calls his team the baseball aliens. And I love that he recognizes that, game recognizes game. He knows that his team is just as desperate as Kuramochi is. But damn, he looks good. Damn, he looks really good there. That's a great look. They're making Amahisa look amazing in this. Ooh, them looks. Oh, I love the intensity. The intensity is just... Love, 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 love. Eat it up, eat it up, eat it up. And he's like, could he even hit that? Also, want to point out, Ryu's hair is super fluffy. Love his little super fluffy hair, like he's trying to grow it out. Only some men I notice when they try to grow their hair out, it either grows down or it just gets bigger. And I feel like Ryu is trying to grow the mullet and instead it just gets fluffier. Kudos to him. My brother's hair grows out instead of down, so I feel that. But yeah, also if you look at Haruichi, his hair is very smooth, so different hair textures. But they both got their mom's genetics, like, out the wazoo. So yeah, I was like, and I like Kuramochi saying, I don't care about appearances, I just want results. That is such a testament to his character, because Kuramochi has, like, that delinquent vibe to him, and he's like, I really don't care as long as I do what I need to do. And he made contact, but here's the thing. In the manga... I don't remember what I said in the manga about this moment. When you see it animated, I'm going to try to show it, like, if I can. I'm going to try to show it to y'all. When you see this moment, he throws it, and then everybody's like, oh, come on now. They're already trying to get to run. Okay, let's try to back that up, like, just a hot second. Oh, and trying to get, barely there, because his foot's on the base. I want to see if we can catch the exact moment. I don't know if the animation will let us do it. Will they let us get to that exact... he caught it right before Mochi hit the base. Right before. And when you watch it on the anime, you're like, oh, nope, he got it. He got him out. He got him out. You don't want him to get it out. You want him to be safe, but it's like, nope. The way animated, it was like a split second, but they got him. I was like, damn it. That was so freaking close. So freaking close. I felt for him. I felt for Kuramochi, because he just, and you can see, like, with the stands, everybody's like, oh, like, Nabe and them are like, oh, man. Like, just got so close. And Amahisa's like, bastard, you almost got on base, and you almost got it. And then even Takami's like, man, that was a really close call. Miyuki's like, that was so close. And I love that Ochiai shudders. That's the best thing Ochiai has done in this just keep shuddering, Ochiai. Shudder for the rest of the game. That's the best thing he's done. But damn, that was that one shot. Where's that one shot of him? The one shot of him where he's got, like, his head up in the air and he's like, son of a bitch, damn it. It sucks. And then Sawamura's like, you know what? You almost had it. And I love that Kuramochi's like, do not patronize me, Sawamura. And Sawamura's like, I'm not patronizing you. I believe in you. That's a great shot to end the episode on, though. That's a great shot. Everybody's head's back in the game. I get it. I get where they wanted to end this game and have it with the shot of them all as they're about to go into... Is it bottom of the third or are we at the top of the fourth? Either way, I get them wanting to end it right here. It makes sense. I'm not a fan of recaps, but to get to this point, I kind of understand. Also, Shirasu's ears. My dude. But yeah, so... This was such a great episode. I absolutely adored it. This was one of my favorites so far. That catch from Kuramochi was just... For people that were not happy with the, like, bounce off of Haruichi's glove and then Kuramochi catching it because it was kind of glossed over in episode 4. For those that didn't like that, I think this made up for it. I really do. But anyway, my dogs are asking to go outside, so I am going to end it here with you all. But next week is episode 8, which is the rule of 8, which, as you know, is my lucky number. So we'll see what happens, right? But anyway, I want to hear your thoughts down below, what you thought about this episode, and I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe, take care, and yeah, I'll be back very soon with more Ace of the Diamond.